Okay guys, Warren has just got back from his lunch break. We've been cheeky while he's been away and sprayed up his Red October, so we're going to see what he thinks of it. Alright Lloyd, I think you'll get to see this as well now.
Well, what am I looking at?
What's going on?
Just come inside, we've done something you're going to be very, very happy with.
Right.
Come on, come on.
Well, you tidied the place.
No, we already did that.
You got rid of the rubbish.
The rubbish isn't gone just yet.
Well, then I'm not happy.
No, just wait for it, just wait for it.
Right.
I think you're going to like it.
Right.
So come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I want to see your reactions.
Is it my birthday today or
No,
something?
it's not your birthday, we haven't got you a stripper.
Are you sure? I was about to say, if there's anything like that's what on.
No. On through, down into the hobby lab.
Into the hobby lab.
Oh, down into the hobby lab.
Down in the hobby lab, go ahead.
Are you sure you just haven't tidied? Are you sure it's not that?
No, go ahead.
Somebody's hoovered.
Sam's been hoovering.
Uh-huh. Right, so what is it then?
On through, on through.
Right, okay.
John?
Yes?
If you please.
Alright, okay.
What's it? Have you pro- Oh! Oh, look at it! Oh! Oh, that has turned out really well.
It looks like a real model.
I got a choke! Oh! Oh, I've done such a good job on that. Oh, man. Oh, that's going to be so cool. Oh, it just comes together so well with the primer, doesn't it? You're always wondering whenever you build something, oh, what will it look like when, hopefully the primer will join it all together, because it's all kind of different colors and stuff. Oh, that's really starting to look like a model. Oh, sorry. I'm so excited. I've been sitting on this for
Years?
months. For months I've been sitting on this. To finally see it get to this stage is so cool. Love it. Love it. You can stop bloody filming anytime. Oh, that's so cool.
Alright, now welcome to the Weekender. Mr. Excited.
I'm an excitable guy, what can I say? Seeing that primed, it just tied it all together.
It really brought it in, didn't it? Yeah.
It was like a big moment of relief. Oh,
It
what I've
worked.
been working on looks amazing to me.
Actually, the first words through my head were, hallelujah, I have stuck enough on this. Because really, Lloyd, it was getting to the point where I was thinking of just creating a big-ass bitbox, PVA and the whole thing, and just chucking it in, and shaking it around, and lifting it out and going, there we have it, Aqua Stompa.
Yeah.
But no, it's a much more elegant solution.
Right, well, yes.
Howdy, welcome to the Weekender.
I'm supposed to say that. I'm in the hot seat. I am in the hot seat.
Yes, I'm just a guest.
Yes.
So,
in case you have to vanish.
a guest that's stolen his hat.
Yeah.
And his seat.
And my seat.
And
your
you're sitting
seat.
there.
Yeah.
Right, come on. Let's get started. Let's get into this. All right, everyone. Before we get stuck into what we are going to talk about, I'm going to let you know that we have some prizes. If you comment on this episode of The Weekender, you could be in with a chance of winning the very excellent Batman Miniatures rulebook.
Yep.
It is a swanky looking piece of kit, this.
Yep.
I mean, first, look at that. Second page that I flick to and look at it.
It is a beautiful, beautiful book. I know our guys now are starting to get into the play of it. We're hoping to get night models across to do some stuff with us on it. But so far, it's very good.
Yeah.
There's some interesting aspects to the rules dynamic that make you go, what? The first time you look at it. But then when you realize that the squad sizes and stuff are quite manageable, it all starts to click. So it's, yeah, watch this space for that one.
Right, well, there's two here on the front show. Comment here on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube. Comment on Beasts of War. Comment on Facebook.
Yep.
If you comment all three places, you're making it more, well, you're giving yourself more chance of actually winning.
A triple chance.
Right, but that's not all. Backstagers, we have the Joker version of the rulebook.
An amazing cover.
So if you're a
Love it.
backstager, make sure and watch
It's
the
limited
backstage.
edition, that one.
Is it?
Yep. That's don't quote me on this, but it's limited to some thousand copies, and when it's gone, it's gone. And I think they're gone.
Oh, they're gone.
I think they're
then
gone.
It's extra special. I should treat it with extra care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't throw it around.
So
And just look at the eyes on this.
it's probably out of focus because you lifted it way towards the camera.
Those eyes would be in focus even if they were out of focus, Lord.
Yeah.
They're razor sharp.
Right. Okay, yes. Well, if you're a backstager, come on to the show tomorrow, comment, and then you'll be in with a chance of winning one of those. Right. Let's go on with our first topic.
There's only one reason why I could be on the show this early.
Tanks!
No, train. Oh, yeah, it's tanks.
It's tanks. Right. Okay, so what? Yesterday, Warlord dropped another brand new kit. You'll know why I'm excited now in a minute.
Yeah.
It has got to be the plastic StuG. Oh, Jono, look at this. So, this released yesterday morning, Friday. What can I say? It is a plastic StuG. Now, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of StuGs. I quite like them. And I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this because it suddenly, the whole StuG army becomes a possibility.
Why are you waiting on it? So you're gone Russian.
Yes, I'd forgot about that. Pants. Anyway. So here we have the top of the hull. There's some really nice details. Jono, can you start pointing some of this out for me?
Right.
Because I'm interested to see the level of detail that they've went to on it.
Right, so these little bits here in the top, that's part of your commander's cupola. That's the hatch where he'll pop out.
Yes.
Those little bits there are his view periscopes. So they've modelled the periscopes on. There should be another ring that will sit on top of that, which is over in the other sprue.
Yeah.
We have a commander figure, which is something that Italary are putting into their kits a lot more.
Yes.
Because the first few didn't.
Uh-huh.
But they're obviously getting better and they're
And
more
he's
comfortable
not
with it.
pointing.
He's not pointing.
No.
Which is nice. We have our exhausts, we have spare wheels.
Whoa, slow down. Where's the exhausts?
These two boxes
These
here.
little bits here are the exhaust. Yeah, let me turn them over. Typically, they look identical from the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, so are these hatch covers
Those
here?
are
or-
hatch covers for the engine bay at the back.
That's for the engine bay. So if you model them open, John, what would you do inside there? Would you just put an oily...
If you could model them open, I think they either have two radiator fans back there or just grills
What do you
of
mean,
some sort.
if you could? Are they not
Well, I mean,
on it or what?
they're not through the model. You'd have
Yeah.
to cut that piece of plastic out where the hatch is.
Oh, you're talking
cover
about
over.
altering it then?
Yeah.
It was it typical for a StuG to have them open or even slightly ajar, or would they have been closed?
In
or-
the summer, you'd have had them open because the tank would have been a lot warmer.
So if you want to do something a bit different, you could model them even just slightly ajar to the point where you're not really seeing inside, but you can tell that it's open. Anything just to
break the line a little
break
bit.
that line, yeah. These bits here,
wheels.
spare wheels, so they're the ones that, well, on the StuGs I've
they'll
seen,
mount
they
on
always
the
kind of
back.
went on the back.
Yeah.
What do they mount on, John?
They should.
On other StuGs, I always saw little
Yeah, they
little
have
bits.
two little spigots that would
Yeah.
Can you
mount
show us
them.
where they go with your other hand there? Just
Okay,
because
so they would
go
go
round about there.
so those
the
two.
back.
What? Which wheels are we talking about?
these ones here.
Okay.
Okay. These components here, John.
Those are the mounting brackets for your shirtsen.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have a full set of shirtsen with this model.
And I'll be getting the shirts in a wee minute. This piece here.
Front armor plate for the driver's compartment,
Uh-huh.
and the other one is the front armor plate for the other side.
Yep, so
the
they
driver's
go in.
compartment is
Let me see if I
there.
can show it. Yeah.
That's the driver's viewport, and then that's just the other where the other block of metal will go.
Uh-huh. And the weapon on this, is that a 50 cal, is it? Or what was
That's
it?
a MG34.
MG34. Okay, of course it's not a 50 cal. Duh. Okay.
This is the bit that I want.
This
to
is
get
the hull
That's the lower hull.
here.
Yep.
And then we have two main gun options. Now,
We have.
I was reading a book about tanks, okay?
Yeah.
And it was highly technical. You wouldn't understand it, but basically they had the rule of thumb for tanks when it comes to weapons arms weapon options. Main weapon is long and thin goes too far in,
Short
and short and thick does the trick. So, John, you can.
I was trying to crack the bad jokes on the beginning.
Well, you can back me up on this one. What are the two weapons, and if you had to pick, which one's the best?
Right, okay, well, the two weapon options are the longer barrel is the Pack, which is the Panzerabwehrkanone anti-tank gun.
Yes.
That is a 75mm gun. That is your tank hunting weapon.
That's your standard StuG loadout. That's the one that I would normally see on any of the StuGs that I've built to date. Yes.
The shorter barrel is to convert the StuG into a StuG, S-T-U-H, I think. Hang on, let me review. S-T-U-H 42.
Stuff 42.
Stuff 42 is basically the infantry support version of the StuG. And instead of firing anti-tank shells and hunting tanks...
It's a shotgun.
It's essentially kind of a shotgun. It's a 105 howitzer. And it was for infantry support.
Oh. So...
What would that do, John?
Which one's the best?
Well, I suppose if you're looking at it in game terms...
Yeah.
Your 105 is probably the way to go.
The short and thick.
You're going to be encountering infantry a lot more than you are going to be tanks.
But a howitzer, right?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it like a a grenade launcher type thing?
No,
What is a
howitser's a big gun.
It's an artillery piece.
But it's an explosive.
It fires explosive shells.
Yeah, so they land and they blow up. Whereas this main gun was firing big bolts of metal.
But when you're firing a howitzer, is it like up? Is it lobbing the thing, or is it like a direct shot, or what's?
It can fire direct, or I don't know if it does it in game terms, but I know that a howitzer will fire up or direct line of sight.
Yeah, but on a StuG it wouldn't have fired up.
Not very high.
There was
a bit of elevation.
Very slight elevation. I bet.
When they were mounted in the StuG, they were for close infantry support.
This is what I'm interested in, the likes of this, because based on our chat about scale models last week, this is what I love to see. I love
to see the wheels already there.
There, and I don't have to do a huge amount of work.
Like the old Lehman Russ kit, where you had to glue every wheel into space. I think it looks great. The tracks themselves look good. There's a good bit of flex in them as well, which I kind of like because I like mucking around with the tracks now to actually put a bit of flex into them. Here we have the two shirts and then there's spare track you can use for armor. And what are these components here, John? Or is it a case of finding out what this stuff is? So
considering we don't have an instruction manual, like this is the back plate for the exhausts. So that's sort of the heat shield that comes down behind the exhaust boxes to stop them burning.
What's this big bit here? That's the gun mount.
Yeah, that's your gun mount.
And then on the other side we have
the back of the gun.
The back of the gun mount. Yeah. We
machine gun shield.
Machine gun shield there.
Top of the commander's hatch.
That's the top of the cupola.
The cupola,
yeah. And that's about it. There's this big piece here.
That's the piece that will go on to the front of the lower hull, which will fit into those two slots.
There. Let me just move the guns out of the way, so just into that.
So they're casting it in such a way that you're retaining all the bolt detail on that without it being on a slant.
Very nice.
Excellent. I love it.
Very nice.
I'm sitting eyeing up the sprue for a completely different reason. I'm looking at these going, oh, there's a nice big straight bit of sprue I can cut out and do some terrain work.
Well,
something Dutch related, Lloyd.
Yeah, well, actually, Kristen could have been looking at these because he's doing a conversion on an orc knob on a chopper.
Yeah.
Right?
So you can use
on a bike.
Front forks.
And what he's trying to do is extend the front forks American chopper style to give it a real laid back chopper style. But it's so nice. I hope the resin kits stay around as well because I just happen to love the resin kits. I think that they're lovely and they've less parts, so they go together a little bit quicker. This is going to be a really nice kit.
Is every part of that kit going to get glued on, or will there be parts left over?
The only thing you'd really leave is whatever gun barrel you're not going to use, although you could probably modify them.
Actually, your gun barrels could just press in.
Yeah.
You know, with this, there's no reason why this tank couldn't be just a case of just press in the gun barrel that you want.
Yeah.
Which is fabulous. Then you've no reason to choose between long and thin and short and thick. So stop giggling, Mr. Lyons.
I just mention it because with resin kits I get the impression there's nothing left over to put into a bits box usually.
Not really.
Yeah.
Whereas with plastic kits sometimes there's things you can just leave to the side and go, do you know what, I'll grab that gun that's been left over.
Where this absolutely excels over the top of resin is when you come to do conversions and start to make the tank yours, not Warlords.
Yes.
The resin stuff, resin is not easy to work with from a conversion point of view, whereas plastic is just beautiful. Well, you know, you can bite, chew, twist, bend. I'm using plastic cement. You get a perfect bond pretty much every time.
Yep.
Whereas we all know that super glue degrades, super glue doesn't take shocks from being dropped very well. I drop models, I know this. You know, so there's no doubt that this is by far a superior kit to the resin one, by far. The only drawback is it will take longer to put together. But in bolt action, let's be honest, that's not such an issue.
Well,
because unless you're playing tank war, you're not
feeling
feeling hundreds of these things. And even if you are playing tank war, you're only feeling hundreds of them if you're silly like me.
And compared to the model kits I've been standing in the shops opening up going, nope, close that.
Well, you
nope,
look at this,
that.
you go and look at the 1/35th scale stuff, you know, and it's tons of sprues.
You open a box in a 35th kit and it's like, I can kind of see where the turret is, but it's in about 15 pieces. You know,
Yeah, the first thing it sounds
you
stupid,
know what that
stuff.
is.
but the first thing is I look at it and go, 2 sprues. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Before you move on, on the topic of this stuff here.
Oh, there's more. So
Well,
that came out yesterday.
Yes, this stuff I'm not going to actually show off on camera just yet. I just want to show what's coming up. This stuff is going through unboxings now, so watch out for the unboxings. But I have the T-34-76.
Is it plastic?
Yes.
It's Russian. It's Soviet. Wait, I'm not finished yet. I also have the BT-7 fast tank. Guess what, Lloyd? It's Soviet.
So I say yes.
And then if that's not enough, I have the BA-6 armored car. Do you want to know something interesting about that?
It's Soviet?
It's Soviet! So, John, my question to you is, very briefly, in a couple of sentences, tell me a little bit about each of these for anybody that's interested.
Well, I have a very quick question, right? So it's the T-34/76.
Yes.
Why is that?
The 76 denotes the size of the gun.
Yes.
There we go.
And there were multiple versions of the T-34. So, when did this one...
That came in 1940.
So it's an early model list.
It's an early model of the T-34, but the kit allows you to make the later versions of the
Is this the one that you would have seen the spade marks on the hull?
Yeah.
They talked about how they
models.
made the shape of the hull in sand, and you could actually see the spade marks in the actual casting of it. So
when you see a real one, the rougher that the welds are and the rougher the thing looks, it's wartime. You know, post-war
So
ones
I'll show you
got
some of the
cleaner.
ones that Warlord have actually put together. Very nice. I like this winter scheme.
You're going to have to get your hairspray out.
Yeah, do some chipping on that one.
Yep.
Now, the BA-6 armoured car, right, it looks a bit like a Dalek to me.
It does a bit, actually.
How do I exterminate with this one? John, what can you tell me about it? Just a little bit now.
Very early war. It was used in the Spanish Civil War. Before World War II.
Is that when the conquistadors and all were running around on horseback? Because it kind of looks like that.
It's a little bit dated, yeah. They were introduced in 1936.
But how did they get into the Civil War if it's Russian?
Because the Russians
supplied arms.
They sent stuff over.
Always been selling arms.
To the Spanish,
Arms dealing has been going on for time immemorial.
Yep.
All I need to do now is I need to grab a hold of Alessio Cavatori and get him with his Auto Belinda and me with this and have a straight up fight between the two to see who wins.
Does the Auto Belinda in Bolt Action have
Auto Belinda?
Auto Belinda. Does it have rules for turning into like a little train where you can put it on a track? Because I've seen a picture of an Auto Belinda where they've taken the wheels off and they've put on wheels that allow it to go along a track.
I don't know. We are going to have to find out. Okay, and then here we have the British Telecom 7th edition broadband tank. Or the BT-7 fast tank.
Yeah.
I like this.
It's the predecessor to the T-34.
I
really like this.
Little, small, nippy tanks. Like one of my favorite tanks for the US is the, oh God, I can't even remember.
The Chaffee.
The Chaffee. I absolutely love just that little tiny tank that just runs around the place, just zipping about.
Do you know what you'll like about the BT-7?
What?
On the real ones, you could take the track off and it would drive faster on its wheels.
Really?
I don't believe you.
it could disengage the back drive and it would drive on the road wheels. And would steer on
so it had road wheels. So were there rubber around these?
Yeah, they took the track off and it would drive on the wheels.
Yeah.
That's why they called it a fast tank.
So it wasn't fast until you took the track off.
Until you took the track
Was the track hard to put back on?
No.
Do you think? No.
So if you were going to go and fight in a city or something, would you take a track off?
You'd pull the tracks off and you could zip around it. I think those
roads.
things could do about 60 miles an hour if you really pushed them.
Holy moly! I got to see if the rules. I'm going to get my Soviet book out and see if the rules for it are in there, and if it has something like that.
That'd be cool.
But look, we've got unboxings coming up, and also we've got the second episode now of the Bolt Action Locked and Loaded show. So what I'm hoping to do is to start having my tanks and stuff ready for that. But John, I've got to ask. Can I capture one of these?
I don't.
You're just determined to have StuGs.
I don't see why not. There are pictures of the Russians having captured those.
I saw a picture of a Soviet army with one of these with a nice big red star on it.
The only thing they did is that they got rid of the German gun and put a Russian one in.
So that's the only right. That's mine as well then.
This
Okay.
may be obvious, but I think that's so they would have the correct ammunition.
Oh, the correct ammunition.
for it.
Yep.
I never thought of that.
Russians are very practical.
Very practical. Right, are we all warlorded out? Are we moving on?
I'm warlorded out at this moment. Yes.
Right, let's move on. We're going to talk about 3D printing. Now, we talked about this.
This has been a big week for 3D printing.
Yeah, we talked about it backstage last week, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Me, John, and Justin. It's raised its head again this week. On Monday on the site, there was a new video went up of, it was really cool looking. It had like these skulls being UV zapped with lights in a
With
bath
all the
of
really
resin.
intricate designs on it.
Yeah, and then after that, we had a really good article series started.
Yes, Harry Gold has created an article. Now, Harry Gold is doing this article series for us where he's specifically looking at his experience of 3D printing and taking us through, well, the first article was taking us through some of the purchase decisions and what was in his mind when he was making a purchase.
The amount of thought he had to go through just to decide to buy one.
But this is it, and he's saving us a lot of thought in the process. But his focus was specifically on terrain because he realized, rightly so, that everybody wants to print their miniatures in 3D.
Yes.
But unless you have a bucket load of money to spend right now on what's on the market today, you need to be spending some tens of thousands to be able to get a 3D printer that's capable of printing a miniature. And even then, you're still going to see minute stepping lines and things like that there. So it's not quite there. It's not quite there.
His article series is good, though, the way he's tackling it. He's not jumping, bam, into the middle of it.
I bought a 3D printer, this is what I've done with it.
It's a really good article. It's not just, here's me and here's everything I made. He is discussing, how the program split up the models and things like that. He's saying you can buy models online and stuff like that. I will say, if you are buying models online, it's my understanding that you can't just buy every 3D model. They need to be made in the program in a fashion where they're like a sealed model. They have an inside, so the 3D program understands how to split them up. In 3D, you can make a model, which is basically just the outside, but there's no information about the inside. So it needs some information about the inside. So if you're buying 3D models, just watch out for that. It may not be perfect for 3D printing.
You know what I find really interesting about the article? The fact that he mentioned that when he decided to buy the printer, he could either get it assembled or unassembled.
Yes, I think it's PrinterBot is what he ultimately went with. I don't know. Hopefully it'll be up on screen. But I
have pictures of it here.
Oh, even better. But basically
this.
But basically, what they did was they sold this as a kit. Now,
which I have the parts of.
Which looks like that, which is utterly terrifying, I've got to say.
That's what I thought when I looked at it. I went, brave man, spent all that money on something and then having to sit and build it.
Well, Harry Gold opted for this. There are some within our community, right, that are so pig-headed that they can make this work. So we do have community members that are so pig-headed that if you give them the opportunity to build whatever it is they're going to do it, something inside them takes over and they will absolutely do it. I've got to say, from my perspective now, I would be utterly terrified to try and go down this route. You know, I don't know if I could be arsed.
He says in the article that it basically compares to building an RC car.
Yeah.
Even that, I can't be arsed with building RC cars. I always imagine it. Oh, I'll get one of those kits or something. You know, that button, like the with the big monster wheels and stuff. But I never do because I don't want to build it, and that's just as scary, if not more scary, because that costs probably a lot more.
If you mess it up, it's.
But it's endless.
Well, the one thing we can be absolutely guaranteed is we'll not give it to him to build because he couldn't even build a Stomper. Yeah. So, I've got to say, I'm going to interject here.
Yeah.
Okay. On the whole Stomper thing, right? I owe you a bar of chocolate. Okay. I owe you an apology.
Okay.
It's been how many years now? Is it 5 years? 5 years since you built the Stomper?
Yeah. That was well, how long did it take you? Because I just remember seeing you constantly marching in and out, cigarettes galore and chocolate breaks and coffees.
a whole lot of right. Building the Orc sub. Okay, yes. I used some parts, some components from the Stomper. Okay, and I gotta say, it's the worst assembly guide in the world. I'm sure it's changed now, but these are old kits that we were using. So, John, I apologize. I didn't realize just how utterly dire the assembly guide was on that.
In the world.
In the world. We'll get Clarkson.
He's out of a job.
He's a free agent now, isn't
Clarkson, do you want a job saying in the world here at Beast of War?
We can get you on the show. Many of us are happy to take the odd punch here and there. So
just make sure and punches in the gut, but there's plenty of padding.
Yeah. But anyway, Lloyd, back to this. I think this is terrifying.
His end result, there you go.
Fantastic, isn't it? Well, actually, his end result is on that floor.
Yeah, well, now that you mention it, we've had this on the show before. I can't remember if it was a front stage or a backstage. Well, I'll zip it over to you. Maybe you can get it in the shot.
So, let me try and get this into shot. Now, it's a little bit blown out there.
Yeah,
so.
it's super white, so what we might do is just B-roll it and darker. Oh, there you go. But the interesting thing is, I was reading the article, and then I was going through the comments, and I didn't really read the description of what I clicked. I just clicked the link that was in the comments, and this popped up. And it never even occurred to me at the time that those buildings in that image is that.
Yeah. Yes.
I looked at that and I went, oh, that's super cool terrain. I wonder who makes that.
Yes, he made that.
He made
on his own printer. Now, he opted for terrain.
Yes.
Primarily because he understood that miniatures was going to be out of his league and out of most of our leagues at this stage. So he thought, right, well, really what I want a 3D printer for is creating terrain. I want to be able to create a lot of terrain.
Which is what is probably it's what excites me most about 3D printing.
Oh yeah, me too.
Being able to make terrain items. I need a building.
Well, we're in the process of putting together a gaming table for Warzone at the moment. We're going to be filming some Warzone. We would love to do a kind of a Warzone edge of a city that's been sieged. Imagine if we were able to 3D design and 3D print our own flying buttresses and stuff like that to give it an even more Gothic cathedral kind of feel. That's what this enabled. However, it is slow. The type that he went for is very, very solid, very rigid, the end result, but it is printed in components, and each component takes some hours to print. And what it does is it takes a feed of plastic that goes through, and it goes through a very, very tiny nib and is melted and put into position. But the end result,
it's great because I built it again because we dismantled it after the last show, and I built it again in like 5 minutes flat. Yeah, with no glue. The way he's designed it is cracking.
It's a fabulous. If anything is a testament to this being a must-read article series on Beasts of War, it's this. It is absolutely this. Yeah, but as interesting as the article series is, it's been a very, very interesting week in 3D print altogether, because at the start of the week, we had an announcement of a new 3D printing process.
Which I briefly mentioned.
That was something like 25 to 100 times faster, okay? And you would have seen it. It was they said, but obviously this is just for the media to get the media involved. Oh, we were inspired by Terminator and rising out of a pool.
That's last week's.
That was only.
There's another one this week.
Yes. Then this week we have yet another one, which is even faster again. And the difference is that this one doesn't need to be in a spotless environment, okay? Last week's, the whole tank and everything had to be absolutely spotless in order for it to work. This one from, I think it's Gizmo 3D, doesn't need to be that, and it can actually draw an object out within 6 minutes.
Which looks cool. In the video, there's like 3 skulls that come out. And the other thing is, you can print in different colors at the same time. What on the printer? The way I understand it is that they divide the well, do you know what the resin's kept? The reservoir. That's the word.
Reservoir.
You can divide it up into different colors of reservoir. So you can't print the object in multiple colors, but you can print multiple different colored objects at the same time.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Well, before we get all excited, it is going to Kickstarter. And they expect it to retail for about $2,500 up to $6,000.
It's quite a range in there. From
that dampens our enthusiasm just a little bit. But what kind of really dampens the enthusiasm is that the detail level currently is at the 50 micron level. Now, community members kind of reliably inform me that it needs to be at the 25 micron level. So it needs to increase its detail capability by about by a factor of 2. You know, it's in order to become useful for miniatures. Will they do that? Oh hell yeah, they'll do that. I've no doubt they'll be able to do that.
If it's resin, are we talking about resin as in casting resin?
You're talking. There are many different kinds of resin.
It's not like a plastic glue is going to work on this stuff then.
No, it'll be super glue. But the whole thing about a 3D print, Lloyd, is 3D prints never need to be glued. You know, if it's big enough to come out of the reservoir, or if it's big enough to be held in the bit above the reservoir,
or small enough, yeah.
You know, you will never need to glue a component. There will never need to be a thought of, unless you're going to go on and cast it, but most of us are not thinking in those terms. Everything will be in its spot.
Even if you want like rotating wheels and stuff, you can print objects in a fashion where they come out and they're already set up to rotate and stuff. I've seen it.
Yeah. Well,
the ball bearings and stuff are already inside the printed object.
You look at the new Adeptus Mechanica stuff that broke this week for Games Workshop. Oh, beautiful. We're going to talk about it in backstage. Oh, stunning stuff. Stunning. But imagine printing that kind of thing and actually having a moving, rotating, mechanical brain inside the object with little holes, and you can actually see it move and rotate. Because that's what you can do with 3D printing, is you can actually print moving parts and things like that into it. It's not so doable with this kind of thing, but with that kind of resin type approach, it does become quite possible. So the intricacy of models and things like that. But the beauty of it is, it's 6 minutes. Even if when they get to the stage where they can reduce or increase that resolution to get to that 25 micron level, you know, you'll still be looking at 6 minutes, you know, because they're not going to sacrifice speed for something like that. They will find a way. You know, and you could almost do entire units coming out in one go.
This is what excites me. We talked about it in last week's XLBS. We were talking about that. Justin was showing this tiny little printer. And he's like, you could print a miniature on that. I'm like, I want to be able to print whole units.
Yes.
I mean, it'd be awesome to stand there and go, I want a unit of this. 6 minutes later, there is my unit of this.
But if you think about it, right, if you got 10 years out of one of these things, right, at $2,500, and it was capable of printing miniatures, right, that's $250 a year. Hell, how many of us spend at least that per year?
Well, Dead Dave brought like £1,000 worth of stuff, and that wasn't everything he'd bought that year, probably.
Now, obviously, you would have to buy the 3D models and things like that there, but we are looking at a quantum shift yet again in this marketplace.
There's comments of people who are afraid of it all just being pirated to heck. We
don't know
discussed this in the past.
We've had a really good episode where we've discussed this in the past. You know, we'll talk about it again. But if we thought Kickstarter was disruptive for our industry, wait till you see what's happening next. This is a freight train.
One of the big problems with Kickstarter is everyone gets excited about an idea, loves what they're getting, but they have to wait ages to get it.
Yeah,
Where something like this could remedy that
There'll
problem.
be no more waiting with this kind of stuff. It's just, yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, I've got to say, Herrigold has knocked it out of the park with this article series. I cannot wait. I think Monday, the next
Monday?
part goes
I
up.
can't wait.
Yeah.
There's 3 parts to it. So I'm looking forward to the next part because I'm hoping he'll have some more pictures like this of things that he's printed and worked on. And then if the Gizmondo thing, there's a video on the site, you can go check it out. If that's interesting, you like Warren says, there's a Kickstarter for that in November time-ish.
Yeah.
Right, I think we'll take a quick break and then we'll be back to continue the show.
I'm going to leave you, gentlemen.
Oh, are you bailing on us?
I will try to join you tomorrow morning in the XLBS just for a quick segment. I have a little boy that isn't been so well this last week or two, so I'm going to spend some time at home. So you can have your hat back, boy.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Welcome back, everyone. That was a pretty good conversation I just had with Warren and I was going to say Justin, but it was John.
Yeah, you two keep getting me mixed up these days for some reasons. Warren will turn around. Justin! John!
It's because you're thick as thieves wandering about together.
Well,
Yeah, but that's the thing you notice about Beasts of War. we all sort of pair off as best mates because you've got me and John, you've got Sam and Kristen. Don't worry, don't overreact.
Right.
And you've got you and Warren.
What?
How is me and Warren bestest mates?
You're brothers.
Yeah, exactly. We're brothers.
Exactly. I want to kill John as much as you want to kill Warren at times. And I'm sure Sam's the same with Kristen.
I prefer chatting to Tom. I quiz him about what he's playing on the Xbox.
Yeah, I still need to get an Xbox.
Anyway, come on.
Off topic.
We got some miniatures to talk about.
We've more than miniatures.
Justin.
The Wild West Exodus Kickstarter is ending soon.
Oh.
There have been some incredible new minis coming out of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
What's happening with each of the factions in this game?
Okay, so 4 new factions are coming in, right? We've discussed this before a couple of times.
So 4 brand new factions.
4 brand new factions. New minis across the board. Yeah. Everybody's got their own cool stuff. First up, you've got the Confederate Rebellion. So the South, who have been completely crushed and defeated by the Union as soon as the RJ 1027 tech turned up, are now coming back to the fore and starting to fight again, which is going to be very cool. But because they're a defeated enemy, they don't have all the bright, shiny new tech. They're going guerrilla tactics, which is where you get images like this.
Oh, now those are like... I like a lot.
This is the one image that sold the Confederate Rebellion to me.
You see, I love stealth and guerrilla tactics in games. Yep. Those are the factions I tend to go for. I'm not so sold on the Confederacy because of the whole slavery thing.
No. At the end of the third novel... okay, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
At the end of the third novel, Jesse James is actually working through the South, gathering up an army of black and white soldiers who fight together from the South. You know, so slavery has been abolished in the South. Oh, in this world.
That's the convenient thing about making a game.
Yeah,
is you can just alter the history, especially when you go
whenever it's something that's
weird route.
Yeah.
What, you mean there weren't aliens in the Wild West?
Don't even get me started.
We haven't even got to aliens.
Don't even get me started. Your next faction is possibly one of my favorite creations from Outlaw, the Dark Nation, where you're getting things like this. The Warrior Nation have picked up the technology with the Devil's Blood, and now it's corrupting them.
Is this character the actual same girl?
Yes.
Corrupted?
Yes. The whole story is...
So it's not a different girl, it's not a sister or a twin
it's
or
the same girl.
Her corrupted.
It's a progression of the character. You can still play the original.
Yes.
But basically, in the Warrior Nation society, each brave or warrior has their spirit animal. She can never find hers. So she eventually picks up the RJ 1027 tech, little realizing her spirit animal was a bat, hence being blind and being able to hear and still essentially see.
Oh.
You know, so there is a big story arc that's going to go along with that of her realizing her folly at the last second and such, which is very cool. Other than that, you get the big honking werewolves with the canisters of RJ just stuffed into their back to keep them alive because it's corrupting them more because of their ties to the land and the Great Spirit. You know, so this is they're going to degenerate a lot faster. Next up, Confederate Rebellion, anyone?
Right, we've already done the Confederate Rebellion.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh yes, we did. Sorry, I have more images for them because.
Yeah, well, let's do it. Let's not jump the gun. So let's go back.
All right, we've got Stonewall Jackson.
This is what I want.
This is
I wasn't so keen on the sniper looking thing because for me, Wild West Exodus is that.
Yeah, but whenever you're into the story, you understand why it is these guys in camouflage cloaks hiding in a swamp with sniper rifles.
Sure, but I'm just saying when it comes to models, that's what I want.
Well,
Other people are going to want those models. I'm just saying that's the epically cool thing about Wild West Exodus.
That's fair enough.
I mean, look at that robotic arm and everything. I just love it.
It's awesome. You also get
but when he part of the, go back.
Okay.
He's part of the Kickstarter then.
he's the boss for the Confederate Rebellion.
Yes.
Stonewall Jackson. He's basically their leader. He's the one that's leading them out the south, ready to kick some Union ass.
This is the guy who's raised the army of.
No. Jesse James done that. This is a guy that's following on after him, continuing the fight because they've basically kicked the bear in the backside, and now it's turning back on them in that story arc. But they also get things like this, which I think is very cool. Say hello to the mole.
Hello, mole.
Hello.
You keep telling us to say hello to them.
Tell me that's not cool. Tell me that doesn't feel Wild West Exodus to you.
It does, but
feels Thunderbirds to me.
It does a little bit. Yeah. What does it do? Obviously, it digs, but I mean,
well,
diggy.
We haven't really seen the rules for this yet, so it's anyone's guess at the minute. But it's big, it's cool, and it's got this really cool mounted gun sort of arrangement on the top, which is going to be very handy. So I can see these things springing up across the board and actually just messing with your opponent, harassing
it's
them.
Essentially a drop pod in reverse, bursting up through the ground.
Yeah. Let's see, who else do we have? Ooh, there's some tasty ones. This is a mercenary from the Kickstarter. He hasn't been unlocked yet.
Hello, that's pretty sweet.
He hasn't been unlocked yet, but I want him to be unlocked.
You think he's got enough Gatling guns?
At the time of recording, it hasn't been unlocked. Hopefully, by the time people are watching this, it may be.
That's fair enough. Well, I mean, like, it's a fair bit away at the time of recording, but he is just so cool.
I do love these jet bike iron horses.
Yeah, the iron horses, but this one is just done up to hell with 6 of the RJ-1027 miniguns on the front. Yeah, I think it's just really, really cool.
It's just going to destroy everything in its path. I like the iron horses as well. I think like the cowboys and the essentially jet bikes is actually pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Even the way they're described in the actual novels, that they're riding on a cushion of thickened air.
Thickened air?
Yes, that's how it's described in the novels. It's very cool, and you get a real sense of how these things would move and shift about on the ground.
That is true. I have read them. That they are described very well.
I wonder what sort of noise they'd make.
A hell of a lot, the way it's described. A hell of a lot. You've then got the Golden Army coming up. Now, this is Ponce de Leon, a historical figure who was searching for the Fountain of Youth.
Yes.
In Wild West Exodus, he has travelled across and discovered a naturally occurring form of RJ-1027. Which is the Fountain of Youth. You know, so even though he was hundreds of years before the actual current timeline, he has stayed alive and been able to stay alive, and he's just built himself a nice little power base even further south than the Southern Rebellion and stuff.
So do we know what his minions look like?
So they're like the Mexican faction,
they're Mexicans and conquistadors. So you're seeing armor like this. On big powered robots and stuff, and then you've got the Mexican banditos and stuff rocking out with big ass guns and stuff.
Do we have any images?
Not that I've put on here.
You see, I don't think I would. It doesn't tickle my fancy to have Mexicans in armor.
No, they are not in armor.
All right,
they are $5 in game, cheap as chips.
Have they got big hats?
They have the big hats and the 2 guns ready to go,
and then gun belts strapped all over them
everywhere.
You see, that's what I want.
Yeah. Because they're so cheap, you're just going to have a horde of these guys.
Yeah, I think those would be your faction then, Lloyd.
Like if we quickly look, here's one of the stat cards. The Close Combat Scouts for the Confederate Rebellion, right?
Yes.
They're $25.
Yes.
So for one of my guys, if you're playing Golden Army, you will get 5 hired hands instead.
Yeah, I probably won't go Golden Army.
Yeah.
Simply because I'm not sold on the Fountain of Youth sort of story arc.
I don't know. The arc works within the world because the actual liquid itself does have regenerative properties. You know, which is why you can have Billy the Kid and Jesse James in the same timeline. you know, it does work and it does make sense the way it's described.
I suppose if he's not the only character and everybody
Everybody that is interacting with this substance is essentially becoming immortal, growing younger, stronger, things like that.
But he's been doing it longer.
He's been doing it longer
just
than
first
anyone.
to the party.
He was pretty much first to the party.
That settles it in my mind better rather than everybody's there and then there's one extremely old guy. If everybody's extending their life through this, then yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, it works and it's very cool. Now there's the other faction, the Watchers, and this will make you happy, Lloyd. Grace.
I know.
They have Grace.
Well, I do. I don't know if you're going to hear that.
I'm not saying aliens.
Lloyd, you did it last week. They heard it perfectly. and then there was a beautiful meme from Dave, dead Dave, our buddy, our Beast of War Rudy, did a meme of you.
Yeah.
He did the History Channel meme for you.
Yeah.
It's on screen now. It's beautiful.
I'm not saying aliens.
This was in
but aliens.
This is in backstage. We were talking about Dust coming to Alien.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
the aliens
Bringing
coming
alien
to Dust.
factions in.
And I was making this
Yeah.
little noise. It sounds like little aliens running around.
Yeah, just the scrabbly little feet.
Because I was saying, I think aliens in Dust should be greys,
Yeah.
like the aliens in
XCOM,
for example.
Yeah.
And then Justin's like, lo and behold, going,
ta-da!
You have looked at the aliens in Wild West Exodus, Lloyd. Well, yeah. And then he's like, you do know they're greys. And I was like, I feel so stupid. Of course they're greys.
Lloyd, they're even called greys on their stat card.
Yeah.
So essentially, that's what I was talking about. I love the fact that they went with greys.
The thing is,
because I think greys are great.
yeah, greys
as an
are
alien.
awesome. I love greys, and I love the whole modern mythology that's been built around them. I'm less keen on them in Wild West Exodus, to be honest.
I don't think they should be there myself as well.
You don't want aliens in Wild West Exodus?
I don't want aliens in this type of game. It's a fantasy game. It's wonderful.
Well, it's not fantasy, but
Well,
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't think it suits the world. I don't think it suits Dust, and I don't think it suits
Oh, it
this.
suits Dust easily. It's
Let's not have this argument again. We already did this bit.
Yeah, we did it in backstage.
Yeah. So if you want to see that, go join backstage.
And I won.
You didn't.
Yes.
You won nothing.
You did not have the fast feet. He wins.
No. Whatever. Moving on.
I think it works all right. I quite like it. It's because they're not doing it in the same fashion as, what was it, Cowboys versus Aliens, which was crap as a movie.
Oh, I had a lot of fun with that film.
I don't know. I get drunk and I watch that, and it's quite funny.
It may be fun, but it's kind of crap too.
I've seen you drunk, man. You laugh at walls when you're drunk.
For me, I quite like it, and I like the fact that they've gone the Greys route.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, again,
Because I'd sit and watch the X-Files and stuff.
yeah.
So happy it's coming back.
Yes.
Let's not get sidetracked.
No, I did.
No,
I-
let's get sidetracked by this.
let's
It's
get
X-Files,
sidetracked.
man.
The X-Files.
Fine.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I've
The problem
loved
with the
it.
X-Files was
Yes.
that if you dropped off, if you missed a few episodes,
Yeah, you were lost.
you did. It found it hard to get back into the story because they would do a few episodes where it was story, and then they would do some episodes that completely nothing to do with the main story.
Yeah, Monster of the Week stories.
And if you missed some of the episodes,
Yeah.
you just sort of get lost. And back then, you didn't have things like BBC iPlayer
Or
so
Netflix.
so you couldn't get caught up. So I have no idea, realistically, where the story in
the other thing
the
was-
X-Files went.
At that time, whenever I was buying it on VHS, way back, I could never find it all in ascending order. It was always just a random copy would turn up. So you were watching random segments of it and never getting the full story.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited to see it coming back. I would read someone in the comments was saying, "I need this on Netflix." I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I need this on Netflix to
Do
get
you wanna know the
caught
funny
up
thing?
and then jump back
Do you
in.
want to know the funny thing? It's probably on American Netflix.
Probably.
Because there is American and UK
Probably.
Netflix.
But shows like the X-Files, they have essentially greys and stuff like that. I just think the grey alien is a creepy little thing.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah. In fact,
Brilliantly
there's one that's
creepy.
on Netflix you should watch then. It's called 51.
Yeah.
It basically follows a couple of reporters being brought into Area 51, them trying to hide the fact that they're aliens from them, and them discovering that there are aliens there. It's a horrible B movie, but it's worth a watch.
Excellent. I might check it out. But yes. But they're not little tiny greys in this. And that's what originally threw me when I was looking at the alien faction. I was like, yep, aliens. It never occurred to me they were little greys because they're not little. They're quite tall, I think.
Well, some of them are bigger than others. You have a few different types. So you have these, which are the quintessential grey aliens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these you would expect, little tiny guys.
Maybe about 4 feet tall.
You've then got elite greys as well, who are done up in some form of powered armour.
Yeah.
But you see, I like this because they've actually worked them into the story in a clever way. well, not let's not say clever. They've worked it in so it makes sense again.
So it's palatable to you, Justin, is it?
Just about. But no, the way they've worked it in is the gods of this universe are sitting around creating worlds and letting them grow and expand and evolve, yeah?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When they discover things like RJ1027, the gods don't like it no more. These are the attack dogs of another god who have been called in by the god that created our world to flatten the world, destroy it all, and go again. Because we discovered RJ1027.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Still
does
not
that-
sure how that fits with me, but
Well, that's the rough bones of it.
Yeah.
You know, I was speaking to Sean about it, and I'm sure I probably forgot some of the minor details that make it a little cooler.
We didn't do any videos specifically about this during Wild West Access Week, did we? Because they were coming out
We
in the
had
Kickstarter.
a backstage video where we discussed some of the stuff for the new factions. So, you know, who was coming, what was happening, just me and Sean just sitting having a chat. But nothing ever went out front stage for it.
But now that they're coming with this Kickstarter, it might
Yeah.
be nice to get some more details in the future as to what you can expect of the Greys.
Mm.
What's the actual faction called?
The Watchers.
The Watchers.
So it's not just little grey aliens. You have the big honking tall guys, the alphas, the betas and stuff
Yeah.
as well. You know, and then
yeah, if you
there's,
go back to the original sort of abduction reports that the whole grey phenomena come from,
Yeah.
there's often one described that's much taller than the others.
yeah, the controlling mind behind them all, as it were. And then you have big slavering beasts as well.
Sweet.
You get some weird books out there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Okay, we're going off
tangent
on one
it.
again.
Well, if you get some weird books out there with
Yeah.
aliens in it, right?
Yeah.
And then there's little Greys here, and then they've got like tall, white, weird-looking people,
Yeah.
and then they've got like hairy beast things.
Yeah. Oh,
And I used to sit and look at these as a kid and go, they're all creepy. But I think the Greys are just
the Greys are the
they're
creepiest.
definitely the creepiest.
Although I will say this, you see some of the rules they're bringing into this now with the new faction are quite clever. Because with the Greys, you see the little green circles on his lifeblood there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are shields. So you have to break through those before you actually start damaging in the main
Wait,
track.
Oh, I see.
This guy over here, he's got
Yes.
three shield points.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 3 shield points. Now some of them have ridiculous levels of shields, like 10.
So normally you don't have shields in Wild West Exodus.
No, you'll have your armor, but that's about it. You know, so armor basically knocks it back by 1 point or 2 point. This means you have to do a consecutive 3 points of damage every time before breaking through, because he has an ability there called Xeno Shield.
Yeah.
For one action, one of his 3 AP, he can completely regenerate that. So, oh, you've hurt me, you got a couple past. All right, I'm going to regenerate that. Oh, you hurt me, you got a couple past. I'm going to regenerate that. So you're never taking big chunks out of him. So these guys are going to be hard as hell to kill. You know, you've then got the other one. See blurred target there.
Mm-hmm.
If he makes a move action before, well, after he's activated, anyone targeting him gets an extra +1 onto the number they need for actually hitting him with marksmanship. So he gets harder to hit. You know, so it's quite nasty. And even the little Greys get this, although they only get 2.
Okay. So that's the Watchers. What's the last faction then?
No, we've done the Watchers, we've done the Confederate Rebellion,
Oh, yeah.
we've done Dark Nation,
Yeah,
and
sorry.
we've done Golden Army.
I thought we hadn't done Dark Nation.
No, but there are some cool rules for Dark Nation as well, if I can find it. Oh, where are you, my lovely? There you are.
That wasn't creepy at all, Justin.
Walk's Looking has some very cool ones. Because now that she's been mutated by the RJ1027, she has flight. So she can basically ignore all movement penalties. She never takes falling damage. She
Look at
doesn't
the
have
cost
to
of her.
worry.
$205.
Ooh.
You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. You see, even if she's in melee with someone, she can quite happily just fly away without taking a free strike. Oh, you're fighting me. Bye! You know, she's also got blurred target again. She causes fear and physical mutation, which is one of my favourite little abilities that I've seen from her. She basically pays, I think it's 5 lifeblood.
Yeah.
And she gains +2 quickness, -1 physical ability, -1 marksmanship, but +1 strikes. So it's basically her raging out, going, I am coming for you, I am going to bite your throat out. Because she's technically vampiric now, because she has an ability called Drain, which actually starts to drain life from other people as she attacks them.
That's kind of cool, actually.
It's very cool.
So, I mean, it's going to mix it up quite a lot.
It's going to mix it up a hell of a lot.
I mean, you've played quite a lot of Wild West Access. You've played
yeah.
some games.
I
with
love
Sean.
it. I'm trying to find my last ability that I want to talk about as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I played with Sean. I had a lot of time. or a lot of fun with it. Although the next time I play you, Sean, if you're watching this, you are not going to dummy me in turn 2. I'm not going after your Doomsday again with Lincoln. I get so caught out with that. I was sitting editing away going, man, this was a great demo game. I had a great time. Wait, what is he doing? No, Justin, no, don't do it. Don't do it, you fool. And then what happened. Right, the last ability I want to talk about.
Just for me, before you move off it, if you didn't watch the Wild West Exodus week, go back and check out. There's demo games and there's conversations and stuff like that. If you've never seen this game before and what we're talking about is of interest to you, basically, if you watch that week's worth of footage, you will be up to speed and know what is what, and then you can make your decision as to if this sort of Kickstarter is the sort of thing you want to back or not.
Yeah.
Tell you what I'm going to do, though. Because you've been going on so much about Wild West Exodus.
Yes.
I'll go back and watch this demo game, try and get the basics, pick up the lawmen, and you can teach me how to play.
I'll do you one better. I've got 2 $1,000 forces sitting here in the studio ready to rock and roll.
Sweet.
Well, that's your Sunday sorted.
Yep, that's me on Sunday
gaming
sorted.
night. Or gaming day on
Well, I've technically promised John more bolt action gaming because we're kicking it up to about 2k points this weekend. So if I get time, I will.
Damn you, variety of gaming.
Yeah, that is the curse sometimes. You know, there are so many cool games out there. Right, the last ability I want to talk about, it's called Adhesive Charge.
Right.
You basically get these guys into melee with a vehicle, and they'll do 3 straight points of damage to it without having to roll.
We're looking at the guys in the cloaks, the snipery type guys.
Yeah, the close combat scouts for the Confederates.
Okay.
So basically, say I've taken 5 of those guys. That's $125 in-game points. I get them into base contact. 5 times 3 is 15 points of damage without having to roll on a vehicle.
Yeah.
So things like that big Doomsday that really screwed me over during that demo game are really not going to like it because you're just going to be knocking out systems left, right, and center. Yes, you're having to commit a fair bit to do it, but I think it's worthwhile.
Cool.
You know, basically, you're able to do it without rolling. That's the one thing that stands out for me. Just boop, aha, boom.
And 25 quid isn't that expensive?
It's reasonable. I mean, like,
when I say 25
if we have a look
quid,
at your greys,
your point system in Wild West Exodus is based on dollars. So on the top of the cards there, you can see a wee dollar.
Yeah. So
cost.
My guys are $25 a piece. Your alien greys are 30.
I love the way he says my greys. You basically can afford. You're taking the greys, Lloyd.
Yeah, and then things like your sidekicks, you're looking at 165. So it can rack up. You know, let's see. I think I have one more here. Ponce de Leon.
I think I probably will go greys actually.
Ah, told you. Told you.
Because I really like the idea of rocking in with an alien faction and kicking your behind.
Not a hope, Lloyd, because I have learned my lesson from playing Sean.
Oh, you think?
I know. Trust me.
Fight.
The next time someone says, you can do this. No, I'm not doing that. Screw you, buddy.
And the other thing is, the greys, you could use them in all sorts of games.
That's true, yeah.
So I'm thinking, if I click the grey faction, I could play it in all sorts of games.
And all of a sudden, Lloyd goes off to create another soundboard with that little noise just so that while he's playing. Just every time he's saying, okay, I'm going to move this guy.
You just need to put XCOM on.
Aye.
And just have it playing in the background.
You could do. But no, I am loving this Kickstarter. It's ending soon. Guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, go for it because they're getting close to some of the bigger stretch goals. I think if they hit the ideal target, I think for me at the minute is if they hit 200k.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to have unlocked everything for all the new factions and some cool stuff for the older factions.
Which would be really cool. So yeah, it's ending next week. It's Tuesday, I believe. Yep. It is Tuesday.
I think unless Kickstarter.
I checked it. It's Tuesday next week that it ends.
All right, you've heard it from the horse's mouth.
And if you're interested, just type in Wild West Exodus Unfinished Business and you can find it on Kickstarter. No problem.
Or just punch in Outlaw Miniatures because that's the guys that make it.
Right.
I've really enjoyed that.
Right. I can see your enthusiasm for that game.
Got that out your system.
Never. No, every time I hear wax, it's just like...
I'm going to move us on.
Okay.
Since we're talking about Kickstarters, we should probably talk a little bit about the Ninja All-Stars Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
There was an article appeared on the site there the week past. Someone tell me something about this game.
I love this one. If you've watched us for any length of time, you know I love all things Asian related. And this is kind of like a game of all those over-the-top anime ninjas you used to watch as a kid.
First thing I want to know, is it a board game?
Yes.
Yes and no. It's a miniatures game all combined in one box. It does use
And it plays on a board.
Yes,
It's a board game.
It plays on a predetermined board.
Have we a
not
picture
table.
of this board?
We do.
Ta-da!
That's a board game.
You need to release some bigger pictures so we can put more impressive stuff in here.
Yeah, that board is actually double-sided, and that's supposed to be your tournament arena.
Okay, so the way I sum it up, it looks like a really cool... Was it Chibi is the...
Chibi, yeah.
A really cool Chibi board game.
And here's why.
And it's coming from who? It's coming from...
Soda Pop Miniatures and Ninja Division.
Yeah.
So it's the same guys that did Super Dungeon Explorer.
Mm.
You know, hence you can see with the art style. So
The style of the miniatures is exactly Super Dungeon Explorer. In fact, I think they are releasing a kit with the Kickstarter, so you can use the miniatures in Super Dungeon Explorer.
yeah, you'll get some conversion cards that let you actually bring the elemental system from this into Super Dungeon Explorer, so you can adventure.
Does it
with
go
them.
from this into Dungeon Explorer, not
Yeah.
from Dungeon Explorer into this?
Yes.
Well, that's kind of cool if you have Dungeon Explorer, because then you can just augment your game and make it really interesting.
Which we
Yeah,
do have.
or you can play this, because I have been reading through the entire Kickstarter on this to get a full flavour of the world. It's fantastic.
Mm.
The whole idea is you're playing one of 4 clans, which are basically have an elemental affinity. So earth, fire, water, void, things like that.
Yeah, we have them listed here, but there's no way I'm even attempting to say them all.
Ika, Kitsune, Yamazaru, Ijin, and Tora. There are more, but they haven't been unlocked yet on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, and then you in the actual game itself, you have these, which are the basic clans. So
Yeah,
there's
the
actually
shrine
eight
sets.
clans.
Yeah,
Ah.
well, sort of. These are the shrine clans. They can be used as just your basic guys, and then you can combine them with one of the major clans.
Yeah, so they can augment your clan to actually make it bigger and better. So you can have bigger and bigger games of this as well, which is very cool.
You guys like the chibi style then?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's fun. It's light.
I've never bought anything chibi.
Neither have I.
But
I'm trying to remember. There's something tickling the back of my head that you've bought something chibi at some point.
No,
No.
it wasn't. It was Street Bot Willie and he's not chibi.
No, it was at QCon one year. You got a chibi
Oh, no,
hat.
I bought a chibi hat.
Ah, there we go.
And I ran around on the street and guys walked past going, "Is he serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I am." With my little hat.
Well, hang on,
It's the hat that I have as my avatar on the site,
yeah. Ta-da!
which vanished.
You lied.
And it really depressed me because I loved walking around in that hat.
It's all right. Hang on. QCon's coming up. I'll get you a new
You're
one.
going to get me a new chibi
I'll get you a
hat.
new one.
Yeah,
In fact,
but
hang on. Didn't I buy you that one? I snuck up behind you and stuck it on your head.
no, I went to the store and I picked it. I went, I want that one. I want that one.
Oh, dear me.
I think you mean I want that one.
Ah, well, your impression. No, your impression's just as bad as mine.
Yeah, you're both
Whatever.
pretty bad.
If you've never seen Little Britain. But no, it's a very, very cool looking game. I'm really looking forward to it because it's light and it's fast, and you can have either single games or tournament play.
Do we have
Yeah.
other pictures?
We do. We have this, which is, I believe, the main box art for it.
No, that's a different thing. That's
Oh,
Karate,
that's Karate Fight, yes.
Yeah, that's a card game that they're also making as part of one of the pledge levels. It's a Ninja All-Stars variant of a card game they already produce. So that's pretty cool.
So it's a card game that they have, and they're taking it and putting it into this Ninja All-Star universe type.
Yeah, so
yeah.
you're getting this game,
Yeah.
the Super Dungeon Explorer drop-in cards,
Yeah.
and this Karate Fight card
It's
game
kind
on
of
top
cool the
of
way
it.
they're tying it all together.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very cool, and some of the artwork's lovely. Just look at the wee weird demon.
There's
chick
a
there.
lot of motion there.
Well, yeah, the artwork's nice because they have this presentation video, as you generally do on the Kickstarter,
Yeah.
but their presentation video is actually really good.
yeah, it
Yeah,
looks
it's
superb.
got some nice heavy metal to it, and some nice swishes and stuff, and bright colors and shiny things.
Yeah,
and I
it
want them.
introduces you to the different clans and their unique style. Just from watching that video, I am in love with the Kitsune. So
I'm gonna tangent. I'm gonna woof off on a tangent.
Here we go.
Now we're talking about this sort of style and animation and stuff.
Yeah.
You should check out the anime Star Wars
yes.
Ah, yes.
video that's just went on YouTube. There's been previews, but
No, that has been out for ages.
has it been out for
No,
ages?
not that
I
long.
saw it months and months ago. The entire thing.
I was next door and John was telling me it's brand new.
Yeah,
John
that's
lied.
what I saw.
Because Warren was also next door going, I've watched that before. And John went, no, that was a preview.
Perhaps I'm wrong.
So-
I will have to give this another look.
What you
It's
may
been
have
known to
watched
happen.
is a preview version of it. This was
Possibly.
like the full 7 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
It's an anime version of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So there's like it's called TIE Fighter, and there's TIE Fighters and X-Wings and
It's
Star Destroyers,
massive
and
space battle.
Super
Yeah.
Star Destroyers all fighting each other in a
It looks great.
anime style. It's taken us 3 years. It's actually worth a watch. There's absolutely no plot to it,
No.
but it's eye candy for
Whoa,
7 minutes.
Anime plot. It does not compute.
And then there's no dialogue either, which is probably a good thing considering some of the dialogue I've seen in animes over the years.
Yeah, considering some of the dialogue I've seen on Beasts of War over the years.
Yeah, we should get a clip. You should be playing
Yeah,
a little clip of
There's
it.
probably a small clip running if I've been able to get it.
Why? Do you think Disney's going to rip it off the internet?
I have no idea. they might just send out their legal department in their black jets. Oh wait, no, that's a different company. Never mind. Never mind.
As a different company.
Never mind. Never mind.
Right, tangent over. Let's get back to what we're talking about.
You've got Oni.
Yeah, each of the clans can call upon the Oni.
Now we're talking. We got Oni stuff.
Big monsters.
I love that guy at the top with the tentacles. He
Yeah.
looks like...
That's from the Ika clan.
He's an octopus guy.
Yes.
Ika clan.
He's like the guy from... I can't...
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Davy Jones.
Mixed with one of the guys from Big Trouble in Little China with his hat.
Yes.
No. You know the one that he looks like? The big samurai from Sucker Punch? The temple fight.
I wish I didn't.
But you know the one I'm on about.
Yes,
I'm right,
I
aren't
know.
I?
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Whoa, you've never watched Sucker Punch?
Is it a movie?
Good.
It is. It's one of the most horrendously bad, amazing movies of all time.
Don't know if I'll watch it.
Mm.
I was recommending it.
Don't watch it with Anna.
I was right. Oh, right. Okay, then I'll just not bother watching it.
See, for me, I love the Oni with the big ass Tetsubos, though. They're beautiful.
Oh, yes. That's one of the Aijin clan.
Yeah, I think they're tied to the void element. Because the whole spiel of this is, whenever you're playing the game, you're actually rolling against each other, not using numbers, but elements to actually try and complete attacks. Depending on what element you roll and which one gets through, determines what the attack does. So it's not just roll target number. So say I rolled fire and water. Fire would cancel out water on an opposing roll.
Yeah.
But say I rolled a secondary water and you didn't have the one to beat that, the water attack would go through and that would do a specific attack based on it.
Let's have a look at the board again.
Yeah.
Now, you said it was double-sided.
Yeah.
Yes, that board flips.
What's on the other side?
Another arena to use.
So, if I really got into the game, I could just build like a cool-looking
You could do. You definitely could do.
That would be pretty
Oriental
amazing, yeah.
garden and
I would love to see that
with
done.
Oriental buildings
Yeah,
and stuff like
I
that.
would love to see that. One of the cool things about this is each game is based around specific challenges.
Mm.
So it's not always going to be just my ninjas whacking
I
the
must
crap
kill
out of
your
you. Yeah.
ninjas.
But on some of the pledges, you can get little samurai
Samurai
guard
Yep.
that you're supposed to be sneaking past or killing as well. So there's going to be a stealth element to it.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it can either go single standalone, we play one night, we put it back in the box, put it on the shelf. That was great fun.
Yeah.
Or you can go full on tournament where your clans actually begin to grow and gain experience and abilities.
Oh, I quite like an idea of a tournament.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think it's the Moon tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, the whole thing is they're trying to gain favor from, was it the Moon Princess or something like that?
Something along those lines. But
The plot is starting to sink into my brain.
yeah, it's a very cool little game. Once you actually read and start getting into the background and the flavour of it, you really get a sense of, I could see myself sitting playing this and actually imagining it play out, albeit with little chibi characters.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm pretty weekendered out. We need to be thinking about the backstage video tomorrow, just before we move off. That's by, who is that by again?
Soda Pop and Ninja Division.
Yeah.
And you can check out the Kickstarter, which is running now and should be ending around April 21st. It's already very well funded.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, so
Boof.
now they're punching for the cool stretch goals.
Yeah.
You
Cool
know,
stretch goals. Huh?
I love that when it happens with the Kickstarter that they instantly go, oh, we're funded. Okay, here's the cool stuff. Come and get it.
Yeah, that is cool.
Mm.
It is much better than watching a Kickstarter struggle.
Mm.
You're just like,
Yep.
It is actually really nice when they bang. We've already achieved our goals.
Let's see what cool stuff we can
Yeah.
do for everybody. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, remember to comment on this episode of The Weekender for your chance to win one of 2 Batman rulebooks.
Yes, I assume standard edition, yes?
Yes, the standard edition.
Okay.
We're keeping the Joker one for the backstage. So if you want to have a chance of winning that, you need to come over and comment on the backstage version of The Weekender. There is a free trial, so if you're not a member, you can actually still comment by signing up for the free trial and still put your entry in and be sneaky that way.
Our community would never do that.
But yeah, so if you've enjoyed this show, the XLBS version is like a whole nother episode of this.
Yep.
And there's a whole range of other things you can watch. I'm not going to dwell on that because
We did that bit last
such a
week.
good job of it last week.
Yep. If you want to know what all's in the backstage, do last week's Weekender.
Oh, that's a great way of saying it. If you want to know what's in backstage, go and watch another hour-long program and then wait till the end.
Well, what? The content's good. We have good chats, good rants, good arguments.
Yeah.
And in backstage, we don't have to hold back quite so much.
Well, we can be a bit more relaxed. The one thing I like about backstage is we get to talk about our hobby stuff.
Okay.
Sometimes...
After last week's hobby stuff from you, I am not in the hobby section this week.
There you are, because I just put you back in.
No! Help!
Right, guys, if you want to join us tomorrow, join the backstage. You can do the free trial if you're not a member, and we will see you bright and early on Sunday morning.